Well, I've got a few ideas, alright? Anyway, we're going for a bit of a dog walk today, that we are. And we're at Severe here in France, on the Voie with little Pandora and little Sebastian. You want a treat, do you? Well, you can have a treat. There you go. That's little Dora and there's little bear. There you go. Sebastian Bear. Now, was it a masterstroke for Donald Trump? Maybe. Since he's posting all over the place at the moment and telling everybody, well, he made $900 million and he made $2.5 million, you see? Because he basically was shorting the dollar, shorting America, effectively. The United States of America. What a despicable thing to do. But there you go, what do you expect? There's Donald Trump. But that's his justification for it at the moment. But I don't think it's actually as deep as that. I believe that he's been under pressure. A lot of pressure by those who actually know what they're doing and those who have propped up Donald Trump. Even the people that are around him have been, how to put it, watching the stocks, which is their stocks as well, literally plummeting. And then you got the fact that yesterday there was a massive sell-off of US bonds, devaluing the bonds, but also, decreasing the United States' ability to be, one of the older, reliable countries to lend to. So effectively their rating went down. The interest rates went up to 4.5%. That along with the stocks literally plummeting. No one knew what was going on. Yeah, well, they knew why, didn't they? Because obviously feckin' tariffs. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump, yesterday, decided that, I don't know if it's he decided, because his post on Truth Social, he didn't write that. That was not in Trump language. No. He's been forced to back down with these tariffs. I can imagine it. I can just imagine in that room that there was a load of so-called friends of Trump, who's basically just people like just want the money, and they're literally just hammering him. And him been having a little hissy fit, you know. The tariffs are a beautiful word, it's a beautiful word, the tariffs. And then for the pressure going on and on and on. Well, we're losing money. You're losing money, but no, I bet against dollar, that's fine, that's fine. And all of a sudden, he just, he gets cornered, and as such, well, obviously, everyone had a bit of a lift, but not the lift that you'd expect, because he's like the boy who cried wolf. Now, he's now increased the tariffs on China, to 125%. He's reduced it on everybody else, apart from the United Kingdom, which is already at 10%, or any countries that haven't retaliated, which... What about Canada? What about European Union, who was going to be imposing tariffs next week? And other restrictions and other trade barriers. Yeah, Donald Trump was saying that, well, you're not going to get any softening or reduction of the tariffs unless you get rid of all these trade barriers and you get rid of your VAT, your TVA, and all your value-added taxes. We all have to pay that here in France and Germany and wherever else, in Belgium and United Kingdom, all these places that, okay, the United Kingdom isn't in the European Union anymore because a whole load of numbers put their cross in the wrong box that they did, you know. This is only last week the Brexit was saying, you see, it's a benefit of a Brexit, leaving the European Union, meant that we had 10% tariffs. God's sake, these people, I'll tell you something I've really learned since doing this channel. Nothing surprises me anymore. It really doesn't. And It's a bit painful at the same time. I'm trying to look at the chat at the same time. It's quite hard on it because it's tiny, tiny, tiny. And here we've got, hello, Kevin, I hope you're well, Pontiac, I guess. But Kershaw, hello there. Yeah, the missus, she's in England at the moment, that she is. You know, when the cat's away, the mice will play, that they will. So we're gone for this little doggy walk with the guys. Yeah, no more Wally, poor. I really miss my little Wally. Yeah, the French countryside. There's a donkey up there somewhere. Is he there? He's in that field there somewhere. Yeah, I might see him later. But yeah, it's frozen and dark out there. Well, it's not dark at the moment. It's quite early for me anyway. I think I say early. It's about 9:30 or something at the moment. So it is quite early for me. But yeah, I was up at 6:45 this morning because we've got a guest at the moment who's actually a member of the channel. Yeah, so that's very nice. From Belgium. So anyways, he's been staying with us. And yeah, I know you keep looking at me for more treats, don't you, girl? So all you want is treats. That's what Donald Trump, he wants his belly rubbed, doesn't he? He wants treats, constant treats. He wants to be told how wonderful, how great, how fantastic that he is. I don't actually think he plans half this stuff. He just lives for the moment. And it's like, what's happened today? And I don't think his mind is that deep. I know some people disagree in that, and they're usually on the right ring, just suckling up to old Donald Trump and his chocolate starfish, as they do. They can't help themselves. But if you cause chaos in the markets, and then the bond values literally plummet, increasing the interest rate of the bonds, which means the national debt and the borrowing just goes through the roof. There's a massive sell-off yesterday of bonds, debt, selling of US debt. Now, it wasn't that long ago that China and Japan, who also owns a lot of US debt, when Donald Trump came into power, they also were selling off national debt, and this devalues the United States bonds values. Is it somebody up there? No, that's okay. I was just saying they've got dogs, but not. There's people there, going for a bit of a walk. So, and that obviously devalues the bond market. So they've been up and down anyway. But it's buddy. Who's that? Oh, class action, it'll be well. Yes, the tangerine Mussolini. Oh, okay, got the paprika Palpatine. Oh my God, there's so many of them. That mad. Oh, he is I have to admit, for all the wrong reasons, he is a fascinating individual. He really is, and it's. But like I said earlier, earlier in the stream, I was saying about like the boy who cried wolf, and that's what he's like. He's all these threats and what have you, and he reverses them just like that. And we can't believe anything he says anymore. So it's going to get to a point, you would hope, that no one's going to believe a word that he says. There's so many countries now are just literally saying sod the United States now. You just treat them like the anomaly that they are. Trade it with them only when you really have to. And it's a shame. It's a shame. We should all be working together to make everybody's lives better. But no. It's just Donald Trump and his immediate, I suppose. Actually, I don't think he can care about them. He just cares about himself. I'm not going to keep giving you treats, Dora. Oh, go on then. Look at me like that. Crikey, what's she like? Sebastian! Sebastian's got an idea in his head that he's going to go and say hello to some people that are walking. I thought he didn't like people with sticks. Yeah. He seemed to think that before we got him that he was beaten, because every time he saw somebody with a stick, he'd bark at him. But no, he's just sniffing at the moment. Sebastian! Come on, boy! What's that? Oh, I just gave you one, Dora. Blimey, what is she like? Only little tiny treats, though. Not too bad. There he comes. Oh, it's Bennett. You're taking your time, fella. They've been putting all new benches down there. I was going to sit on that bench, and there's a couple of old people on there. Should I push them off? I'll ask them if they're Marine Le Pen supporters. If they are, I'll push them off. Well, she's been discarded now for at least 5 years. She's still putting her 2 pence worth in, though. Just can't know what she is, But even she doesn't want a Brexit now, She's seen that the damage it's done to the United Kingdom and the fact our trade values with the UK and the European Union is down in the mud, isn't it, really? It's not great. I have to admit, though, even though Keir Starmer's not my favourite person in the world, I do agree with his approach of trying to maintain a relationship between himself, the United Kingdom, and European Union, and France in particular. Actually, he's been doing a lot with Macron, Emmanuel Macron. A lot of the French hate him in this area, especially. I don't know why, really. Maybe because he's an ex-banker. Maybe that's what it is. It just seems if anyone's been an ex-banker, that's it. You're doomed. It doesn't matter if you're ex or what, or if you're an actual banker, you're doomed. They don't want to know you anymore, do they? That's like the end of it. It's a bit daft, really. I think it's a bit daft. But I'm sure you could be a banker and still be a relatively decent person. Sebastian, that way. He's getting a little bit carried away, that one. He keeps running ahead. Come on, fella. Bonjour. This way. Sebastian. Sebastian. He's very obedient, isn't he? He's a lovely, lovely boy. He really is. He's such a sweetie. Sebastian. He's totally ignoring me, isn't he? Sebastian, this way. Come on. He's coming. He's a-coming. We're going that way, are we? Okay. Yeah, that'll teach you, won't it, eh? You could have got lost. But we're going this way, that we are. So, I don't know if you heard, what's going on in Ukraine at the moment. They managed to capture 2 soldiers, Chinese soldiers in Ukraine. It makes me wonder whether or not, I don't know if they're just Chinese people who just decide, let's have a go, I'll get into the fight and all that, or whether they're actually a part of Russia's relationship, with China, whether or not they're actually supplying them with soldiers just like North Korea is. Well, North Korean soldiers just seem to, it's just cannon fodder, isn't it? Russia's just like, see how many people we can push onto Ukraine to, push the front. And Ukraine seems to be more strategic and more precise because they've got less resources, haven't they? Less resources and less people to throw at it. It's horrendous. I just can't imagine. Can you imagine being like parents of children or what have you, and been made to fight like that? I just beggars belief, isn't it? It's frightening. I'll be no good. There we come. Tangerine Mussolini. Give them lots of candy. That's what dogs do, beg, or ignore me. Probably both. For some parts of the world, it's easier than others, at least for goods. Like the European Union doesn't need the US imports. They have alternatives. Well, the thing here, I live in France. When we came here about 2009, sorry, and if you're looking for things, you kind of in the shops and stores and look for stuff that you recognise or you can relate to. You know what it is, so to speak, because everything's French. And it was hard, but we didn't buy anything from the UK. There was some people there buying stuff from the United Kingdom and doing like what they call the mouse to house. So you order it for instance, from a supermarket, Tesco's, and then mouse to house would pick it up from there, then deliver it to you in France. Obviously there's a premium for that. There's a cost of us. So many Brits were doing that. Well, we didn't used to do that at all. Because this seems stupid, you know. You need to live to your means, but also to do that, you need to live like the French do. So we started doing our own preserves and all that sort of stuff, you know, canning. We do loads of it, growing our food and canning. And we do live like the French do, and our French friends and what have you, and we do swaps, and, you know, it's nice. It builds up a relationship as well, and you're not just stereotyped with, you know, with some of the Brits who move here. You know, and, yeah, you've got to put a spade in the ground. Well, so what, you know, I need the exercise, to be fair. But it's just a way of living. It's just how, well, you just got to appreciate what's around you. I mean, you get everything you need anyway, because that's what the French do. Yeah, they're not eating, are they? They clearly are, you know. And some of the food's fantastic, you know. Once you know what to buy or grow, how to cook, you know. I've always been able to cook, to be fair, but you know, it's just a way of life, and you got to take it on board. You know, that way of life. You got to do what the French do. You know, maybe not protest constantly. maybe not that. Maybe not chop off heads and stuff. Maybe not do that either. But as a whole, you know, it's a case of you've obviously got to live to your means somewhat, but also you've got to work with what you've got. You know, we didn't need Heinz baked beans. We never used to buy them in England anyway. Okay, we didn't need Cross and Blackwell baked beans or broad beans. You know. I know you want another treat, don't you? Oh, crikey, look at them down there. It's a good job I brought the little treats today, because you are getting greedy. Yeah, devils. So it's just what you have to do, isn't it? You know. And when you've got these situations, like for instance the tariffs and that's being imposed on all these countries, and wondering whether or not the European Union is still going to end up with tariffs, or whether or not the European Union countries get the 10% tariff. It's still more than we were being charged before. You know, the UK, for instance, is around 2.5% tariffs. And half these fucking tariffs, like for instance milk, are going to Canada. That was like 2.5%, well, whatever percentage, that was 0% on milk. But then it rocketed up to over 50 odd percent if you went over the quota, over the limit. You know, it was capped, and then you got quite a large tariff. But the US never met that tariff. When you went about halfway, but Donald Trump just sees the numbers, you know, and he makes it all up, doesn't he? It's like those tariffs on his leaderboard. It was worked out in the back of a fag packet. Or to make out of some kind of Greek equation. Well, that's not a reciprocal tariff, is it, if you've got to equate it? Because you've just got to look at, what are they charged? Go on the WTO and have a look what you've been charged. You know, it tells you everything. It's all on the WTO website. It tells you exactly what each individual country is being charged in tariffs. And it's like the United States charging Canada for tariffs on wood and what have you. There was no tariffs. On WTO, wood is tariff-free, provided it's not processed. You know, if it's just literally just come in a raw form, there's no tariffs. That's a Donald Trump thing to put a tariff on it. Yet again, these things have got quotas. The same with most of the tariffs that are listed on WTO, they have quotas. It's so you can create some kind of fair trade and one country doesn't gobble everything up. Now, there wasn't that long ago that in the European Union, a couple of member states, there was a problem regarding the supply of timber. This is about 20 odd years ago now. And, no, not as long as that, 20, yeah, it would be about 20 odd years ago. Yeah, anyway, there was a shortage of wood, right? And as such, it was capped to get a fair distribution of timber to all the member states. You know, that's the whole thing. That's why the European Union is a protectionist racket. Yeah, it's there to protect you. So everybody had a fair crack of the whip. Just like sugar imports from the United States. You know, it's just, you've got Silver Spoon and Tate Lyle, right? If I'm talking about the United Kingdom. Now, you've got Tate Lyle, which is an American company, and they've always had gripes because their exports of sugar was capped into the European Union. And it was capped to protect the market for local sugar production, which should be sugar beet. And for the UK, that would have been British sugar and what have you, silver spoon. And that protect the markets. Now, since Brexit, and since Boris Johnson relaxed those tariffs to relax the caps for the United Kingdom, Tate Law's got more of a hold now, and it's squeezing out British sugar. This is why we have tariffs. They have to be structured and they have to be focused, and the other caps have to be structured and they have to be focused. Having this kind of overall tariff, it doesn't work. Every single country, you have to think it through. If you're going to have a tariff, it's got to be there for a reason, the same with caps. Otherwise, what's the point? You know? If you want to protect your own market so your own businesses can actually, flourish and pay taxes, which then obviously go into the country's coffers, and to pay for services and whatnot. Yeah, we need to be able to protect that. That's where tariffs make sense. But what he's doing, these like global tariffs on, for absolutely everything, and even this 10% is ludicrous. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever. And now you've got from China with this 125% tariff, which is going to screw over US factories and manufacturing. It's not going to make it better. It's just going to make it all worse. Like arguments like, let's say a US car built in the United States, okay? Let's say, let's say it's a Chrysler or something, I don't know. Well, that little touchscreen in there, where do you think that comes from? The US don't make it. That was imported. Probably from China or somewhere like that. Or Taiwan, or anyway, somewhere South Korea. US isn't going to make that stuff, and if they did, it'd be too expensive anyway, because obviously your wages are high. I know you haven't got much of a minimum wage, was it $7.25, is it, minimum wage in the United States? It hasn't gone up for over like 15 odd years, because they could never agree on anything. Because you had this like hung Congress and that, senators, and it's just, you can't actually, it's like what we had with Brexit. When the vote was so flipping close, all we would do is like dragging our heels constantly. Oh, should we go to the bench? I've got a nice bench over I can sit on for a bit. Yeah. Then we'll meander our way back. Come on, guys, there's a bench here. I'm going to go sit on this bench because I'm lazy. It's a new bench. It's a bit kind of, if you ask me, I'm a woodworker, right? I look at that bench. That's quite a nice little bench, an oak bench. But it's almost bolt upright, almost. And the seat is completely flat. So they're the most comfortable benches. No, the old one that was there before was better. It was like, it shaped my bum. Oh, the old people, they're going back there now. The distance. So anyway, let's have a look at this chat. Oh, crikey. I'm sceptical that the metals used in various parts made in the USA are metals mined in the United States. No, they're not. Some are. But, we've got a hell of a shortage of copper. Copper prices have gone through the roof. Which, it's good to go and do a bit of investment. We're going and doing futures and what have you, or commodity trading. Do you know what I wish? I wish I knew a little bit more about stocks and shares and commodities, futures. Like 10 years ago. I might be a little bit better off now. Now I've got a bit more knowledge, but I'm broke. So, hello. It's about right, isn't it? There you go. My brother's first major job was improving factory floors to make them more robotic in America. So to make them smoother, I suppose. Would it be the case, making them smoother? So the machines can run over them out here. I don't know if you've seen recently, if you looked at Boston Robotics, they've just got themselves made a deal with, crikey, what's it called? It's like Wari, not Zomi. Oh, the car manufacturer. Anyway, they've tens of thousands of these robots are going to this car manufacturer. Oh, which one is it? Is that a Korean name or something, or a Chinese name? Hyundai, yeah. Hyundai. So there's tens of thousands of of robots are going there, and they're all going to be integrated with AI. This is the future of manufacturing across the world, and we should really be a little bit worried about what's going on at the moment, because we're all going to be well, I can't do what I do, but a lot of people are going to be out of a job. They really are. That's already started happening. My brother-in-law, my son-in-law, who's a computer techie geezer, he's lost his job. He did contract work, and it's finding it really hard to get contracts now. There isn't the jobs available in his skill set. And the same with my son's friend, who's also having problems getting contracts. It never used to be like that. There used to always be more available. The availability of work outstripped the availability of people who could do that kind of work. But it's been replaced by AI. Not entirely, but there's not so much demand. It's reduced, and we're going to see this slow, well, not slow, it's quite quick actually. This ingress of artificial intelligence and robotics, and it's just going to take people's jobs. It's quite sad, really. It's people's families, that need to, support them and feed them and water them and house them. And how do you have a functioning economy if all you got is these, robots? You have some sort of universal basic income, ain't you? So they're going to have to earn the money so the people can be fed and watered, which means they then become just a cost. The people will just become a problem. At the moment, they're going on about birth rates, get birth rates up, and we need the people because we need them for this moment. But kids they're not fully grown when they come out of the fanny. If they were that hurt, I don't know. Whoa! I wouldn't know. I just whoa, blimey. You got that, have you? Oh my God. Legs first, they're size 10s. Crikey. Busting out the stomach, it'd be like Alien instead. But they're not fully grown, are they? So they got there's lead time, and then there's training and all that sort of stuff. So we're not going to have the people. If you look 20 years time, we're not going to need the people. It'll be sooner than that. It's going to be this transition. We're seeing it with manufacturing. We're seeing it with creative industries, architects, designers, programmers. There's a reduction. At the moment, it can't do everything. It's not that brilliant yet, but it will be. And recently, they on ChatGPT, I think it's 5 or something. Hello, boy. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, lovely. They managed to pass the Turing test of, I think it was 70-odd% pass rate for the Turing test. Madness. Now, I know some people say, well, the cat is out of the bag, or, that ship has sailed now, and we've just got to deal with it and live with it. But it needs legislation. But the problem is you need a global approach. Otherwise, you're just going to have countries that who literally don't care about people will just increase their manufacturing sector to a point which we just end up buying everything from abroad because it'll be cheaper. There'll be no wages to pay. You just got to buy these robots and program them. No sick days, no holidays, Just a little bit of downtime occasionally for maintenance. And even that might not even be a requirement. You see, we need sleep, don't we? So they'll be working 24/7. These machines can, as long as you can lubricate them, power them, they'll just keep on working. We should really be taking more notice of this. But everyone's just in awe of it all. They just, it's amazing, can do this, can do that, it's going to take a job. The jobs that we thought would never be done by machines are being done by machines already. And for that, wasn't it Scott Best, not one of them mad people? No, it was like going on about tiny screws. Bring back iPhone manufacturing into the United States. They're going to be built with tiny screws, they are. See, a lot of the manufacturers get rid of the, like last time when Donald Trump was in, and we're looking at, like, for instance, the manufacturing of iPhones done in China. All these like Foxconn and those sort of companies, all they did was they just moved their production to another country, not the United States. But also used cheap labour. And this didn't benefit anybody. It's all about trying to keep the price of the iPhones down. You know, if your iPhone's built in the United States, for instance, you're going to be looking at it's going to be like $2 or $3 at least. And then obviously you've got the tariffs. You know, the way they're saying it is that, well, I've been told is that they'll just suck up the tariffs because they don't know what's happening, what is around the corner, and they proved that right yesterday by actually backing down, you know, doing this U-turn on the tariffs. We're going to get to a point where no one will believe anything he says. I don't believe anything he says anyway, but you know, put the tariff in, you can take the tariff off, but I believe that he's had a huge amount of pressure. When you see the stocks just plummet like that, remember he's got stocks as well, and then you see the bond market, the massive sell-off of bonds, devaluing the bonds, and then the interest rate of the bonds going up. That is a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for the country going bankrupt. On paper, obviously, you know. It's never going to happen for a country. You just print more money if it comes to that. Which then devalues everything as well, devalues the dollar. But the dollar's already devalued because of stupidity, which it is. It's madness. It affects everybody, you know. People wonder why I talk about this stuff now, because I used to do all about Brexit. I just, when I saw the effects of it, I thought, crikey, this is affecting my family, it's affecting people that I know and love and what have you, affecting people in the UK and in the EU, it's affecting everybody. Whatever happens in the United States, if they sneeze, we all catch a cold. And we've got to try and pick up the pieces, you know. And if this turbulence that he's causing, it reminisces of, Liz Truss, who got bitten by a lettuce. Look what she did to the pensions. They've only just started recovering. You know, the losses are already lost, you know, they're already gone. But they just started returning back to where they were. And now all of a sudden it's just dropped back down again because, you know, these companies that are investing, like pension funds, what have you, some of those funds are going to be in the United States using the dollars, especially world currency, maybe not for much longer. About 60 odd countries now are talking about ditching the dollar. And then you've got the BRICS as well, haven't you? Talking about, you know, they want to ditch the dollar. There's been a bit of pushback on that. I think it might be because China owns a lot of dollars in debt. Might be that. Maybe that's why they're not that. China wasn't that keen. But when this keeps going on, they might change their mind. What countries are looking for more independence from the United States. We're too tied into the United States finances and their economy. It's crazy. The more I look at it, the more maddening it kind of seems. It just seems absolutely nuts. There's a larger problem though. The US put EU in a stranglehold due to the military and can essentially dictate trade relations as long as the EU doesn't have military. That's why the EU is trying to have military. Think about France. France has autonomy, you know. The nuclear missiles aren't dependent on the United States. Everything they build, pretty much, most of it is built with stuff sourced in France. They've got quite an insular economy. And they do buy stuff in as well, but they're pretty sound, you know. Look at the nuclear power. We produce more power in France than we actually use. We sell it off to the United Kingdom and to other European countries. You know, France is pretty stable in many ways. We have some political nutters, but you know, and I know a lot of people don't like Macron. I get that. In the case I like Macron, I think that he's not a fool. Marine Le Pen's a fool. Jesus. Selling a feeling, sentiment, without the actual ability to make any of the stuff that she was promising come true. And when she saw what happened to with Brexit, she kind of maybe Frexit isn't such a great idea. She sort of backed down about it and didn't really talk about it again. Yeah, there are some countries that want some kind of detachment from the European Union. Hungary, that I don't think they do actually. I don't think they do want detachment from the European Union. I think they just want to cause trouble. Viktor Orban just wants to cause trouble. Well, they're all in Vladimir Putin's pocket, aren't they? Let's be honest. Hello, Spank the Monkey. Oh, you've been busy, have you? I had some numpty telling me that the tariffs will not really affect Apple as they moved a lot of everything inside the iPhone from India. What? Well, they did, didn't they? They did, look what happened with India's economy. It jumped past the United Kingdom because of Brexit. Mad Monk, my friend, a long time no see. Hope you on, buddy. We produce more power in Scotland than we can use, but still have the highest electricity bills in the UK. Yeah, I know, because you've been ripped off. You've been bled dry by England. By Westminster, I should say, really. And then the fact is they haven't even got the infrastructure to move that power from A to B, and it's costing billions every year just to actually turn the turbines off, which is madness, absolute madness. Yeah, if you've got a shortage of electricity, you need to make sure you can get it from A to B, don't you? Or at least put it in some form of storage, for the night times usage. Batteries, salt batteries, or whatever type of batteries you want to use. You need your independence, mate. That you do. Vietnam has the largest army, 10 million. That's right. Everybody. What's the population in Vietnam? 100 million. There's 100 million people in Vietnam. That's a huge amount of people. I looked this up last week sometime. I was chatting with Mark, a guy who's staying with us at the moment, and so I looked it up last week about Vietnam because I was looking at their tariffs. Well, they got massive tariffs, didn't they? And I thought, blimey, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of mouths to feed. So every man, woman, and child is strapped up. So, the American monkey, I like that. Totally support the European Union, but we talk the talk and don't walk the walk. The problem with the European Union, everything just takes so long. And that veto is a nuisance. They need to get rid of the veto and have a 2/3 majority needs to be enough to actually get things through. Allowing countries like Hungary and what have you to have a veto makes no sense. You can imagine how difficult it is to try and work on each individual country to see where they're going to vote and actually try and persuade them. And then, with some kind of benefits or something like that, they can negotiate it. It must be very tiring, to say the least. All this stuff, like for instance, the United Kingdom was like constantly vetoing with a flippin' Nigel Farage as an MEP. He basically just made it very difficult to progress, to get anywhere. So it all just made the European Union look sluggish. But at least they are doing things, like for instance, some legislation regarding artificial intelligence, legislation regarding looking at protecting our children from online threats. Like X, for instance, or like what's it called again now? Is it Steam? No, there's a site called Steam. It's like a download site for games and what have you. Oh, and they're they've got games on there that are like really misogynistic. Just need to go. What's your? And he's a tall geezer. That's all he is. Crikey. I'm like half his height. Hello. Yeah, I know, guys. You want to go for your walk? Should we walk back? Yeah, no, don't mount her. You dirty dog. What's wrong with my Sebastian, though? When my little Wally dog was alive, he was the one who kept trying to mount Pandora, but she's been done anyway. Yeah, you spayed, haven't you? And no, it's like Sebastian has taken over. He keeps wanting to try and mount her now. Yeah, I know, girl. I know. She's a lovely little thing. She's the youngest, believe it or not. You know? Leave her alone, you dirty dog. Oh my Gideon. Crikey. I taught him everything he knows, I did. Oh dear. Oh God. Yeah. Looks like Norway is on its way into the European Union after Trump. Well, they got their very special deal, haven't they? So Norway's does so well. But you think, at the moment, you've got Denmark has been threatened by Donald Trump with Greenland. And, oh, quite the other heard, there's talk about putting boots on the ground in Panama. Some crazy shit Donald Trump has been spouting. I mean, some real mad hat stuff. Again, he always does, doesn't he? Yeah, so there's Denmark and Norway. So they've got Denmark, Greenland, you've got Norway with Svalbard Islands, and Putin wants to take them. So you've got Donald Trump wants to take Greenland, and not far from Greenland you've got the Svalbard, to the east. Svalbard Islands. These all strategic. Bonjour. These all strategic. Got a runner in the midst. There's a runner. Strategic northerly position, northern flanks for military, isn't it? It's a bit concerning. Yeah, I know. You want another tree. We won't have enough to get back, Crikey, glad I put little tiny ones in my pocket. How old are my dogs? All right, Pandora. She is 12, and Sebastian is 14. They're 14. Yeah, I think that's right. My little Wally, he passed away late last year, and he got to nearly 15. But he had problems and what have you again towards the end. But I tell you what, it hit me hard. I tell you, losing him. He was my little buddy. He was my little shadow. He was. We will get another dog. We were talking about not having another dog for a while, but if once these guys, it's their time. But it's all you got to think about, to be honest. But I'd like little Jack Russell. I think Wally had Jack Russell in him. He's a Labrador cross. He's only small, but you look at his ears and his face, he looked like Jack Russell. It's all a misdirection and poorly orchestrated at that. If you're talking about, threats. But it's that same thing again, isn't it? It's that boy who cried wolf. How can we take anything that he says seriously? He implements them and he takes them off. Implements them and takes them off. It's almost like foregone conclusion. That's what he's going to do now. So it's he's just a problem. He's just a problem. He's just fucking everything up, isn't he? The world order and all that, the economy, and everyone's just got to, suck up to him like he's the Messiah or something. Got to bend the knee, kiss his feet. But no, we don't want to do that. I think it's got like scabbiness and stuff there, and growing toenails. So over that was sucked up to his old chocolate starfish. No, don't do that either. No. Oh, there we go. Has any country taken dumping seriously at any time? I think they have, in the sense that you really don't know what he's going to do. He's an anomaly. He's erratic. He's either going to implement it, then change his mind, and implement it and change his mind. It's a beautiful word, tariffs, Mad Monk. It's a beautiful word. This is the great social experiment. Well, seems very anti-social. Grabbing people at the border, then chuck them in El Salvador. Yeah, shave their heads. Dehumanise them. Be barcoding them next. He hasn't done so already. But I can't remember the name of the company. There was a company that's got the job, basically, the contract for doing it. It's capped at, not capped, they've got, the budget is 45 billion, but they have to meet their quotas, and they're running out of criminals. Well, they're already around that, because that's pretty much the reason why they're basically taking anybody, just so they can deport people and gain the money and keep the quotas up, so they get the chunk of the 45 billion. Now, I won't be a bit surprised if Republicans have shares in that company. I won't be a bit surprised at all. It's evil. If the whole thing is just evil, it's like people no longer... Well, human rights are just out the window, aren't they, you know? It's like they've got no value. Well, they have got value, monetary value. Yeah, in El Salvador. They ain't got mattresses on their beds, it's just literally just slats. Like, beds are just like, it's like the Dexian shelving there you put in a factory, you know? There's bits of wood bits on it and stuff, and they're all like packed on there, you know? It's just horrendous. What the hell has happened? In what world really is that, you know, is that right? Evil bastards. Seville is a bit of a problem with very special rules. It's a free for all really, and Russia showing more interest lately. Yeah, Russia's got the most icebreakers as well, and with the ice receding in those areas, you know, it's exposing a wealth of minerals and other stuff. Giant octopuses. I don't know. Oh dear. Don't tell China they'll eat them live, they will. I think they want Greenland just to be a dick to Norway, yeah, probably. And I'm like, yeah, they have got military there, and it is a very strategic northern flank, isn't it? And if Russia wants Svalbard as well, yeah. But they're in cahoots anyway, aren't they? You know, they shake each other's hands when they're over there. Every country is free to do business, so that's why there is 2 Russian towns on Svalbard, visa-free zone. Also, so many Thai living there permanently. What? That doesn't make sense. They don't feel safe on the west coast. Having 2 cats at the age of 12 and 13, with the average age, oh yeah, I know, oh God, it's not great. It's not great. Yeah, we had our little Wally on our bed when he passed away, and it's horrible. Hello, the average Norwegian gamer. That's a mouthful. Nobody on the West Coast has given up on their sanctuary status like he wants. We're working on local ways already in Oregon to replace the federal funding that they're taking away. Well, you think on the West Coast, California, what have you. Thing is, though, California, they could cripple the United States if they really wanted to. They really could, you know. They're like, they're the 5th largest economy of the world. You know, there's so much tech comes out of there, so much manufacturing. You know, and you got that. It's just damage. It's like damage limitation. And whoever takes over from Donald Trump, can you imagine the job they've got to do? Oh, it's going to be hell. It's like Keir Starmer getting huge amounts of criticism when he's inherited a massive problem, you know. I can remember when the Chancellor of the Exchequer was saying that, we found another 20 billion, we just found the 20 billion, that's what he said. And then Labour gets in and says, actually, no, there wasn't 20 billion there. Well, we need to find 20 billion. It's just mad. Everything is just up in the air. The Labour Party in the United Kingdom are fighting a losing battle, and whoever takes over from Donald Trump is going to be fighting a losing battle because people want quick results. And when you've got governments that are only in for 4 or 5 years, whatever, you know, they're never going to be able to provide the results in time. That's why countries like China and that, they think further ahead. 100 years, Maybe that's what Donald Trump wants. Oh, have a look up here. There's a donkey. Where is he? Oh, he's all right over there, he is. He's up against the fence. Someone's coming right up to here, as you can tell by the way it's... Yeah, he's eating the grass over there, he is. Oh dear, Donald Trump, he's a donkey, isn't he? Oh, don't fall. The worst part of it is that, in the end, despite always... despots always lose. History, they do always lose. But in the meantime, they make a huge amount of money, but they lose any reputation they might have had. But all the people that go to suffer in the meantime, massive. Oh, God, it's horrendous, that. Can you imagine being Latino, whatever, in the United States? You'd be living in constant fear. When you consider the billions and billions of dollars that they pay in taxes, it's like when you got these numpties telling you, they're a cost, you get what you have. They don't get no benefits, yet they're having to pay taxes. So effectively, they're free. They get no benefits. I don't know what they do about healthcare. Crikey. The Thai are about 10% of the population or so, about around 200 of them. So there's about 2,000 people on there. It's not a lot, is it? They want our water and our trees. What? In Canada? Always up. I'm using the excuse as well. Say, because you haven't retaliated, you'll get the 10%, and we're going to reevaluate everybody's tariffs. So it's just, some people are saying, okay, so that's good now, let's all calm down now. But no, you got the 10% tariffs, you're still paying more than you were before, which obviously is not very helpful. But nobody knows, and it's only a 90-day reprieve, so you think the whole thing's going to kick off again. You see, businesses don't invest on the basis of that, do they? Why would they? If you're not going to invest for 90 days, are you? Unless it's a short-term fix. It's just madness. It's just people. It does make me wonder, it really does. So, I do like it down there. This little voie vert goes all the way to Chalou, and then it actually continues on, but in the form of a velo track. Basically, you can rent sort of a bike on a railway line. This used to be old tram lines for it. They weren't actually railways. Yes, it used to be the old tram line. And lots of places all over France have done this, where they've made them into either leisure things or, like a nice little walk. And it's great for people, even in wheelchairs and stuff like that, or little scooters. Gives an opportunity to pop them up and down here. Yeah, it's quite nice. You get families come down here with their bikes and stuff. I'd love to see that. I really do. Just brings back memories of my kids. They're all grown up now. They're all hairy like me. Well, I think I'm going to shave I'm going to have my summer beard. So I'm going to have to shave that off, clip my beard, get it a bit shorter. I was really bushy the other week, and I was getting too much. And now I've trimmed it, it's uncontrollable. This is what Rome probably felt like before their empire collapsed. Yeah, that's a good analogy. More than likely. Yeah, I just hope that Caesar gets stabbed in the back, maybe. The worst part of it is... Oh, no, I've done a bit really. Hello, Daniel, eh? I feel like I'm on something any time his cabinet... I feel I'm on something every time his cabinet speaks. Yeah. Every time he talks. And that flipping Caroline Lever. Crikey, when they, oh crikey, was that Scott Besant? He was out there. I don't know what that noise was in the background, but anyway, he was, I thought it was in front of a big fan. I don't think it was the helicopter. Anyway, she she butted in and says, this is what happens. You see, none of you have actually read Art of the Deal. You don't actually understand the Art of the Deal. What? Donald Trump didn't write the Art of the Deal. Apparently, he hasn't even read it. You know, it's just, he probably had a few meetings with the author and what have you. He's a ghostwriter, and then the whole thing was, you know, extrapolated from that. Crikey. Who was the geezer that recorded Donald Trump? Oh, that was Wolf, wasn't it? Was it Michael Wolf or something? Yeah, he'd one of his ghostwriters. It's just daft. It's just so daft. It's so foolish. Yeah, they removed a lot of the old benches, and then we're getting all new benches, you see. Might be because the boards are falling off and there's like nails and big bolts sticking out. Yeah. You have to be really careful when you plonk your bum down. Yeah, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. There we go. Behind me. Yeah, it's hard to get off again. Over the days. Apparently Trump is dyslexic, although not senile. He is... I would say that he definitely isn't reading the room. He's not as cognitive as he once was, so that's saying something. He's showing his age, basically, you know. And it's like Biden, you know, he had his problems. He wasn't an idiot, you know. His motor skills were buggered, weren't they? You know, his body was failing him. But I always thought his brain was kind of intact, but his mouth wasn't necessarily engaging with it. But, you know, let's be honest, look what's happening now. Crikey, he's destroyed the economy. No one is, and the US has soft power, but also its ability to, not ability to, its trading position in the world. No one trusts it anymore. It's a shame. It's such, guys? That's such a shame. And it was so unnecessary. You know, something needed to be done. You know, I've got no doubt in my mind that, you know, stuff had to be improved. He's cognitively challenged, and is that what you're saying? Yes. I'm trying to be polite. Hello, guys. What are you doing there? You gonna get in the car? Huh? I've got to lift you in, probably. You used to jump straight in there, didn't you? Not anymore, no. Not anymore. Getting older. Got to help me, you see. It'll be me next. Can I put my bag in there and get rid of these flipping leaves I've got dangling down there? They've been banging on my legs when I've been walking around. So yeah, it is. Well, I suppose it's a thing, isn't it? You know, it's just a thing. I don't know what to make of it anymore. I really don't. It's nuts. Let's be honest. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, I suppose I better get back to the old workshop and building a door today for a customer. Big old oak door. Big old chunky thing it is. It's very nice. So I'll probably put some bow ties in and stuff like that, because I'm a bit arty, a bit creative. Anyway, here we go. Get that phone out of there. Quite, my voice has changed, hasn't it? I used to have a really high-pitched voice years ago. About a year or two ago, and now it's gone really hoarse because I've got thyroid issues. But there you go. Say, Livy. Anyway, treat time, and then we're gonna make a move. Oh, I'll tell you what. Do you want one of these treats? You like these ones, don't you? Where are they? What have I done with them? Where's your big tasties? I've got these bacon things. They really stink. There we are. What? No, I want those ones. Oh, you know we had these ones. Oh, okay. Oh, probably they stink and all. Blimey. You're not having an old one. You already had loads of treats. Alright, bigger one for Sebastian. Oh, that's Dora. Oh. You got the slightly smaller one there that he did. So anyway, thanks for watching my little live stream, and I hope everybody is going to have a lovely day. And dysentery, so just said about dysentery. Cacastia welcomes everyone. If you can't take it out where you're at, it's easier to get to the end of the Oregon Trail. You might even might not even get dysentery. What? What's that all about? Yeah, have a great day, everybody, and I might do a few more lives like that if the weather's nice like this. And it's been a beautiful day. It's a chilly morning, and the sun, well, the sky's clear, and the sun's beating down. As you can probably tell by the, yeah, it's a bit bright, isn't it? Are you sure prednisolone? I'll take that. Adderall? I don't have any Adderall. I do. Sometimes I take prednisolone. You talking about me, or you talking about him? Because I have to take anti-inflammatories, so I mix them up a bit. I got these. I can't remember what they're called now. Oh crikey! There's one anti-inflammatory that I take, but then sometimes I take the other one, prednisolone. I'll give it off on. There we go. Have I missed anything? What have I missed? Quite hard. The chat is really hard on mobile, because I get a little tiny window at the bottom of the phone. It's like I'm just using the phone, not even the microphone. I'm just using everything on board at the moment. There you go. Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, that was Ordre Severe in France, which is well, would have been attacked by the Nazis, but instead they were tricked into going to Ordre Severe instead. Look it up. It's quite interesting, that it is. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So, toodaloo, you know. Toodaloo.